more on this now with Alexander Helt in Bonn, Germany. He's a senior fire ecologist with the European Forest Institute. Alexander, good to have you on this program. The fires that we're seeing in Greece, as well as many other parts of the Mediterranean, seem to now be the new normal. They're similar to what we saw in 2021, those deadly blazes. How are people and governments going to now have to adapt to the changing climate?
The biggest adaptation needs to happen in our mindset. We have to accept that we cannot fight these fires. We are not able to fight and suppress these fires. So our strategy has to move to prevention and also to shift from fighting these extreme fires to defending infrastructure, protecting citizens, and protecting settlements.
And how are governments going to have to do that? And residents themselves, how are they going to have to protect themselves?
We see governments like Greece now having a lot more resources and coordinated response in terms of evacuation. What we as experts are still missing is the acknowledgement that you can only have big fires if you have ignition, severe fire weather, and enough fuel. And especially around the settlements and the critical infrastructure, we need to see large-scale forestry, landscape, fuel management projects to reduce the fuel, to make these settlements defensible in the first place.
And Alexander, the entire Mediterranean region is really prone now to high temperatures, especially in July, even more so in August. Should countries in this region be coming together to look at ways to mitigate the impact, some of which you've outlined for us, or even perhaps form a firefighting task force specifically for the Mediterranean region?
I welcome international cooperation because fires do not respect borders. So we should forget about borders and cooperate. But the terminology is already critical. You speak about a firefighting platform. I would prefer to call it a fire management association or a fire protection association, because it will shift the focus more to the resilience, more to the prevention. And it is not neglecting the response, but the focus must shift clearly to managing the land and reducing the fuel.
And how does this heat, how do the fires actually affect the land, especially when we're talking about farmland, people who make their livelihood through this, as well as their livestock?
See, the ecosystems in a Mediterranean type of climate are very well adapted to lower intensities and milder fires, and the mycorrhiza in the soil, for example, can well deal with milder fires. Fires under these extreme conditions have a detrimental impact on soil, on fertility, on the humus building. So restoring these productive landscapes to a level kind of before the fire will take at least 5, if not 10 years or longer, and it needs very careful management that the following rains now in the autumn and winter do not wash away the leftover little bit of soil that we have. So it needs a lot of attention to build better after this disaster, and really the restoring needs to already target the better land management for the future.
A lot of change needed indeed, but one of the changes that we may possibly see, do you think, is the way that people travel, Greece in particular, a tourist hub, but could we see people traveling to those countries more in June or September, simply because it's not as hot as July and August?
I spoke last year with a huge German tourism association, and my feeling is that the tourism sector has realized the challenges that climate change is bringing, the heat, the fires. There is a change in behavior of tourism as well. And it's also good that the tourism sector is addressing this, because they can fulfill and use their responsibility in developing some of the fire management and fire prevention strategies in the tourism areas, alongside governments. And so I see here a lot of potential for private-public partnership with the tourism sector, and adapting to the change means exactly that: cooperation and sharing resources and serving a common goal.
Alexander Helt, thank you so much for your expertise and for speaking to us there from Bonn in Germany.
Thank you.